Hey folks, we are continuing our series called Hunt Elk Every Year, and our next state is Utah. We want to make sure that you know every option that's out there in what I call the destination states for Western hunting. We've already done Arizona, we've already done Wyoming, we did the overview. Now we're going to do Utah. After this, we're going to do Montana. And the reason we're doing Utah is because it's the next state as far as deadlines go. March 7th, 2019, you need to go out to the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources webpage and do your application. So what I have here is I have the 2018 Utah strategy article up. And the reason that is right now it's probably in the next day or two that they're going to put up the 2019 Utah elk strategy article. But these strategy articles they're invaluable. Brady and Trail, who put these together, amazing information. The basics you need to understand besides the deadline, right? We always want to make sure we're there before the deadline, is that March 7th, I don't know what day of the week that is, don't get that close to the deadline. Very often people wait to the deadline, that state's website crashes and poof, you don't get your application in time. I believe they give you another week after that where if you did miss the deadline, at least you can go on and buy a point, a bonus point, which gets us to the quirkiness of Utah's system. The very first thing is you have to buy a non-resident hunting license. I believe that's, if I remember right, it's $65 for your non-resident hunting license. So you have to buy that just to apply. So I'm going to give you an example. I am one of 3 non-residents in the maximum point pool for antelope in Utah. There's 5 tags. Historically, there's been 5 tags issued in this hunt that I've been applying for. If there's 5 tags, 3 go over here into what they call the random part, but it's really a bonus point draw. And then 2 of them go over to what's really a preference point draw, and some people call it a bonus draw. And so it's splitting those 5. I'm over here with 20 or 21 points, whatever is the maximum for antelope. And there's 3 of us. So 2 of the 3 are going to get a tag because these 2 tags go to the people with the highest number of points. Then, if I'm the one unlucky person who doesn't draw here, I get kicked over into the next part of the draw where the remaining 3 tags are going to be issued based on a true bonus point draw. Bonus point being you have 10 points, I have 4 points. So like you have 10 raffle tickets and I have 4 raffle tickets. So this is a little quirk to Utah you need to pay attention to because they have a sequence in which they draw these permits. They start with the limited entry deer, then they do limited entry elk, then limited entry antelope, and then they go to what's called the once in a lifetime species of bison, moose, mountain goat, and the sheep species. So you're allowed 1 limited entry tag per year. If you draw a deer tag in Utah, you are taken out of all the other draws and you're just given a point. So let's say you don't draw a deer, then they go and they look at your elk application. All right, you didn't draw elk, but you drew pronghorn. That means you are now done with the draw. They're going to just give you points for everything else. So if you got a lot of deer points, know that could put, if you draw, that could put you out of the running for your elk application. It's just the sequence in which they do things in Utah. Probably doesn't affect most people because not many of us have to worry about drawing multiple, that we could have drawn multiple tags in a state with low draw odds like Utah has. One of the things you'll see in Utah is they have certain units that they measure or they manage for age class objectives. So here, there's some units they manage to try have a harvested bull age class between 7.5 to 8 years old. That is crazy. One of the things that really benefits rifle hunters in Utah for elk is that They start out with the archery seasons, usually start in mid-August and end sometime in the earlier part of September. So just when the rut's starting to really get going, the archery season's close. And then the rifle guys get to come in. Yeah, the early rifle hunts in Utah, you get to hunt with a rifle in the peak of the rut, usually the last part of September. And then it's usually followed in just about all units, it's followed by a muzzleloader hunt, which is still at the tail end of the rut. A few units have what's called the mid-rifle hunt, which is usually the middle of October. And then they have what they call late rifle hunts, which are in usually November 10th, somewhere in there, running till about the 20th, somewhere in there. So Utah just, because of that, is going to be high demand. Who does not want to go and hunt elk with a rifle in the rut? I do. One of the great things about Utah is tons and tons of public land. Very high harvest success rates. The downside is it's really hard to get a tag. The number of years you will probably have to draw and the amount you'll have invested in license fees and application fees is going to be significant. Unless by some lucky stroke your name gets pulled in the bonus point round, odds are you're going to be in it for the long haul. And that's why Utah, if you're allocating a budget, Utah probably falls towards the very bottom of that because you got the $65 upfront license cost, you got all the application fees, and your odds, if you're just getting into this, your odds are really, really slim. So some of the other states we've already covered of Arizona and Wyoming, those are way up the list because the draw odds, if you hang in there for a few years, you really increase your odds. Utah, we've got people have been hanging in here for 15 or 20 years and they still can't see anything coming their way. If you want to have better chances to hunt elk in Utah, the odds are you're going to be looking at one of the late rifle hunts. The late rifle hunts, compared to the other seasons, there's no rutting activity. They're usually going to be in sanctuary mode, so they're going to be in rougher country. They issue more tags in these late hunts, so the quality of the experience might be slightly more crowded than the early rifle tags or the archery tags or the muzzleloader tags. Utah does have some over-the-counter opportunities for elk, but we don't talk about them much because we feel, or I feel, that the over-the-counter opportunities in Idaho and Colorado and the general tag in Montana and Wyoming are far better options than the over-the-counter tag that you can get in Utah. So there you have it, folks. That's Utah in a nutshell. I could have went into way more detail. This strategy article here, I bet you is 30 or 40 pages long. This goes into all the detail you could ever want related to the Utah application system. Go to goHUNT.com, sign up for the Insider, use promo code RANDY, get $50 of mad money, free store credit in their gear shop. And it will tell you a lot more about the Utah application system, places of, they call it hidden gems, ways to discover some maybe overlooked areas depending on what your point level is. They talk about what can you expect with 0 points, if you have 3 to 6 points. So there's a lot of really good stuff in here. Information about what units have what success rates, bull to cow ratios. There's so much information in here. You can find all this somewhere else. It's going to take you days and days and days of going to this spot and that spot and calling this person, calling that person. With the goHUNT Insider, it's right here at your fingertips, not to mention the fact that the draw odds in Utah are all right here. They're dead accurate. A lot of reasons that this system, the goHUNT Insider, is so valuable in what we do for all the states we talk about. So there you have it, folks. Utah, elk. If it fits your budget, apply. If you're on a tighter budget, Utah's probably going to drop off, and you're going to be looking at some of the other states we've talked about. But if it fits, why not? You never know when you're going to be that lucky person. Thanks for watching.